Well, those of you who have spent any time in the theater world may be familiar with the phrase, there are no small parts, only small actors. And that is not in reference to people's size, but their egos. The idea being, if you didn't get cast in the big part and your happiness depends on being center stage, get over it. This is not only about you. This is a lesson numerous people have reminded me of in my life in subtle and explicit ways. In college, I was cast as a cab driver in a play wishing that I had the lead role, and my theater professor reminded me of this lesson, but also not only of the importance of ego, but in the reminder that the story is taking place everywhere, not just on center stage. That every part is necessary, and that to the cab driver, his life is the center of the universe, as it is to most of us. And so she told me, if someone asks you what this play is about, you say, so there's this cab driver. It's like going to see a magician and knowing that what you're seeing presented before you visibly is not actually where the trick is happening. The magic is happening hidden in plain sight, and for me, that is what Christmas is. We could be fooled into believing that the Christmas story is only happening on center stage, a baby in a manger. And for all the reminders that Jesus is the reason for the season, on bumper stickers and signs in people's yards, which are not untrue, we could easily fall into the trap of believing that Christmas is about passively participating in the story of the holy being born into the world 2,000 years ago to somebody else. In this story that you're about to witness, where the children and youth and adults and music and choirs and costumes make it come to life, what we will be reminded of is a story in which God keeps trying to show up in almost every conceivable way to distracted, busy, self-centered people who don't seem to get it. You know, like us. The holy keeps saying, look here, look here, look here, please look here, pay attention, wake up, go to sleep, wake up, I'm still there. It shows up in dreams. To a new dad, it shows up in the songs of angels to a new mom. It shows up in pregnant human bodies and in stars in the heavens. It's animals in a manger. It's wise people. It's bearing gifts. It's decrees from tyrannical, self-centered rulers. But it keeps showing up saying, pay attention. Pay attention. When you watch today, be reminded that this story is not one of passive observers. It's an invitation to participate in God's big play. All of the characters are asked to respond and do something. Not once in the story, pay attention today, not once in the story do any of the angels or dreams or decrees say, God is about to be born, just sit there. It's always followed with, and therefore they left the country for safety. And therefore they told someone about it. And therefore they brought gifts. And therefore they were not afraid. There's always in this story a response. Kind of like life. The Christmas pageant and story is a reminder that our invitation is to take part in God's big play. And we do so by taking on these costumes that bear our names for a few years, maybe 100. And then one day, we let the costumes go again and enter back into the mystery from which we came. And the quality of our participation in this story makes all the difference. The pageant reminds us that we can sing beautiful songs, and if we're not kind to each other after we're done singing them, we have not celebrated Christmas. That we can watch the story of two refugee parents taking their child to safety, and if we do not provide safety to refugee children in our country, we are not celebrating Christmas. It reminds us that if we are not deeply present to one another with the same care and attention we would show a child, we might call it Christmas, but it's far from it. This story is not about getting the lines right. It's not about the perfect song, the right stage presence. It's not about the set being perfect. It's about our presence to one another. It says, is God's story being played out in your life? The big play, where kindness reigns, the theology of compassion is king. And something is being born every moment, not just 2,000 years ago, but in you. So don't just pay attention center stage, although a lot of good stuff will happen there. A star will walk in from the back, kings and wise people will descend, there will be music coming from the choirs, and so in your life. By definition, the holy is everywhere. And people will find out about how it's being born by how you treat them. And so when God shows up in a dream, or in a gift, in a new child, or in a play on this stage, say yes while you can, until we give our costumes back one last time. Many blessings on you, and amen.